Every year, from pretty much Halloween through New Year's, it's cold and flu season. And you might think that's because it's, the middle of the winter and it's January and it's freezing outside, but it's not. It has nothing to do with the weather. It's because of sugar and its effects on your immune system, especially your white blood cells, right? Sugar pretty much shuts down their activity. So think about it, like Halloween is kids' candy, and they come back with that whole thing, and then, it's sitting on the kitchen table and you're grabbing a handful here and there, and all of a sudden, then we got Thanksgiving, etc. So sugar adds up. In fact, a while back I did a little research, and there was over 200 documented effects, negative effects of sugar on the body. And we're going to talk a little bit about how it affects especially us during the holiday season, and why actually we all seem to get sick right around Christmas or New Year's. So a while back I did some research, came across a list of 200 documented negative effects of sugar in the body. I promise I'm not going to go through all 200, but I did pull out some of the ones that really hit us the hardest, especially during the holidays. We all know that sugar spikes insulin. Insulin drives fat into fat cells, and we gain weight from sugar. And of course, sugar causes cavities. I remember my dentist when I was a kid calling them sugar bugs, which sounded cute, so it didn't really motivate me to not have sugar. I liked bugs. But one of the main things that sugar does increases inflammation and oxidative stress in the body, so it inflames things. You ever notice your joints might ache after eating sugar? Well, that's why. Sugar also messes with your brain's dopamine, leads to depression and more cravings. It accelerates skin aging, collagen breakdown, wrinkles. Sugar can really create a lot of nasty things. It's associated with liver, pancreatic, and breast cancers. It disrupts the gut, which feeds bad bacteria and yeast, which can create bloating, inflammation, and leaky gut. And it throws hormones completely out of balance, especially in women with PCOS. And here's a shocker. Think about this. Just 2 tablespoons of sugar, enough, or about what's in a soda or a dessert, has enough to flatline your immune system for about 5 hours. So chronic exposure to sugar from pretty much October through January accumulates. And realize, again, it's not the fact that it's getting colder out. It's the fact that we accumulate sugar over this many months and we get some pretty significant problems. So let's connect some dots. Let me tie this all together for you. Halloween candy. What does it do? Well, it affects your immune system. It starts to drop. We add to that Thanksgiving feasts, right, full of all the trimmings, which spikes inflammation. Then there's Christmas sweets that feed bad gut bacteria and creates a bigger gut imbalance. And remember, 80% of your immune response is in the gut, and sugar wrecks this by, again, feeding bad bacteria, which paralyzes your white blood cells. Then come New Year's, right? It's, alcohol and more food, which basically affects the liver and the gut again. So what can you do to protect yourself? Well, first, I think you have to know where the enemy hides, right? And look, I'm not saying sugar is always the enemy, but knowing that it goes by about 25 plus other names is really important. So if you're reading a label, anything that ends in OSE, O-S-E, is pretty much sugar. And companies are smart, right? They try to hide it, they try to confuse people. So instead of something saying sugar is an ingredient, it might say dextrose, or sucrose, or glucose, lactose, maltose. Those are all just sugar. And a lot of times it'll be like a natural sugar, so it says honey or maple syrup or, I guess what I'm getting at is just understand and read labels. If you don't know what something is on a label, since 80% of products in American supermarket shelves are going to try to add sugar one way or another, from your bread to your pasta to your tomato sauce to you name it, think about the cumulative effect of all of these things. Another thing I'd highly recommend is get on some of the right supplements before the season starts. So what can you do to protect yourself? Well, here's my holiday immune supplement support stack. First thing, vitamin D3 with K2 is an immune system regulator. So that'll really help. It regulates something called adaptive immunity. You see, sugar, stress, alcohol, they all reduce vitamin D receptor activity. So I'd recommend take somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 IU of vitamin D3. Get one that has vitamin K in it. That's the simplest way to do it. Another one that's important is vitamin C and zinc. That one pretty much should be on everybody's front line. You see, sugar competes with vitamin C for cell entry, and sugar will always win. So think of it that way. You just got to have enough vitamin C to make sure it gets in. So vitamin C, 500 to 1,000 milligrams, probably twice a day. Zinc, somewhere between 15 and 30 milligrams a day is great. Another supplement called N-acetylcysteine, a NAC it goes by, is a powerful antioxidant shield that replenishes your body's glutathione, which is your master antioxidant. It protects the lungs, the liver from sugar overload. So I'd say take about 600 milligrams once to twice a day. Probiotics are another really powerful thing to keep taking, right? The reason being is your gut microbiome really is where your immune system lives. So I'd look for one with about 20 billion active, alive probiotics, or the good guys, so to speak. That'll help with inflammation and recovery support. So let's say you had a sugar binge. What's the fastest way to recover? Well, here's my quick protocol for it. So think about, like, immediately after, like in the first 6 hours or so, try to get some kind of protein in. It'll stabilize your blood sugar. Think also healthy fats and fiber. For example, like salmon, avocado, some greens. Also rehydrate and get electrolytes in. And try to move. 10 to 20 minutes after eating, get some kind of activity. Go for a brisk walk, etc. Cinnamon and chromium are also supplements that have been shown to help regulate and control blood sugar. And of course, avoid more sugar. Now, in the next 6 to 24 hours, so the next day, I would highly recommend get some protein in with each meal, 30 to 40 grams. Start adding veggies like broccoli and cauliflower, arugula maybe. 25 grams of fiber a day can help a lot too. And of course, don't skimp on the sleep. 7 to 9 hours is really important, so do your best with that. And again, make sure you're hydrated. I always use the rule, half your body weight in ounces of water is great, especially if you're trying to get rid of sugar and boost the metabolism and get your immune system kind of cleaned up. I would also just make sure you avoid refined carbs, which are essentially sugar. Chips, crackers, bread, pasta, tortillas, white flour, like all that stuff really is just another form of sugar in a way. So I'm not saying don't eat any of it, but you do have to kind of slow it down a bit. Another thing that's really helpful is add prebiotics and fermented food, right? Things like sauerkraut or kimchi if you like them. I would avoid dairy and yogurt. It has a lot of sugar generally, so it kind of doesn't really help in the long run. Berberine or apple cider vinegar before meals can also help with this. A couple things that you could do aside from just the food thing. If you could do a sauna, for instance, it's awesome for boosting immune system function and just circulation in general. Green tea can help reduce oxidative stress. Think about also deep breathing, which can lower cortisol. Another thing that I really like is just movement, right? It'll actually help insulin sensitivity. It's insulin that gets sugar out of the blood into cells. So think about, again, going for a walk. Now, after sugar exposure, like if you're like, okay, I just overdid it, Doc, what do I do now? Well, here's what I'd recommend. Number one, berberine. A lot of good research on berberine and how it can lower blood sugar by activating something called AMPK. So it improves gut health. And if you combine that with NAC, which restores glutathione levels, protects the liver. Magnesium is another one that's awesome, improves insulin sensitivity and sleep. Alpha lipoic acid also helps boost the metabolism, helps burn off sugar. And omega-3 fish oils are awesome in that they decrease inflammation, which is caused by sugar, also helps stabilize mood. So there you have it. There's a few different things that you could do. One, in cold and flu season, what should you do? Understand the sources of sugar. Realize that it's not a reward, it's a trap. It's hidden in a lot of things. So make a plan to start, food shopping in a way that you get sugar kind of out of the game plan as much as possible. If you do overdo it, go back to the list that I just sent you, right? It really kind of goes into, well, what should I eat? What shouldn't I eat? What supplements can I take? What should I avoid? And it's really pretty simple. So again, just limit the sugar the best you can and do the supplements. And if you do happen to have a bit of a binge, go back to what I just explained. The sauna, the walking, the protein meals, the fat, the fiber, those are all things that'll help your body deal with the sugar you just ate so it doesn't affect you as negatively. So remember, it's not about never having sugar again or not enjoying treats. It's just about understanding what they actually really do, especially in excess, and learning how to stay in control. Once you realize sugar isn't a reward, it really is a trap. Literally, food companies try to bury it in almost everything because it's addictive. And when you understand that, you start to be able to recognize where it is and just to kind of free yourself from that. So here's my challenge for you. If you want to actually enjoy the holidays without wrecking your health, start with your gut. I'll show you how inside the free training. The link's in the bio. I'm Dr. Anthony Infantino, and this has been your Rebel Reset.